Mr. Gandolfi.
Ms. Ryan, it is often stated that though capitalism gave the world a higher standard of living for a steadily increasing number of people, it turned the world inside out. Personal loyalties gave way to financial relationships. The wealthy man ceased to be the patron of his poor neighbor. He became a mass man, very often with no purpose in life other than self-aggrandizement. How would you answer this charge?
I wouldn't take that charge too seriously, because observe the package deal and translate the terms used here into its actual meaning. To begin with, if a wealthy man is to be considered in charge of his poor neighbors, what is being referred to specifically is the feudal system. If a wealthy man has to be responsible for his poor neighbors, he has to have power over his poor neighbors, and therefore what the author of this quotation is indicating, but does not have the courage to say openly, because if he did, it would be rejected instantly, is that he prefers the feudal system to capitalism. Now, when he says that capitalism becomes a mass man, that is another snide or slanted type of writing, which, if you translate it into its realistic meaning, simply means that every man works for the widest market possible, that he offers his values, and his economic future is determined by the value of his product and the free individual judgment of those who want to buy his product or to trade with him. When you speak of a mass man in terms such as these, it simply means that you object to the fact of a free market, to the fact that every man as an individual can deal with as many men as care to deal with him, and that every man has to offer his product or services to a mass market, by which is meant a free market. It does not mean that the total mass of people will buy every product. It means that those who want to have a chance to. Point number one. Number two, what is here the question of what is meant by the question of upsetting somebody's loyalties? Obviously, this quotation refers to a set dogma which the whole of society is supposed to accept and from which nobody can deviate, and that again is a concept that could be conceivable only under a medieval feudal system. Under capitalism, one of its great advantages is that there are no set loyalties. That is, none set and prescribed by the state or by society or by the community. Each individual chooses his own loyalties, and the individual who chooses rational loyalties of values is the one who will succeed. What the author here is trying to disguise is the fact that under capitalism, every man stands on his own, is free to choose his own values or loyalties, his own occupation, and to go as far as his ability and ambition will carry him. Therefore, if you translate the meaning of this statement into an exact, concretized, realistic image, if you ask yourself what does it mean in fact and in reality, it means the greatest compliment that anyone could pay to the capitalist system. This quotation, in fact, criticizes capitalism for its virtues, not its flaws, and the implicit viewpoint of the author is quite clear. It is a medieval collectivist who resents the freedom and the individualism possible only under a capitalist system.